Today we woke up to the incredible news that Binance's CZ announced an investment into one of this channel's favorite low-cap gems, and that is, of course, Parsiq. Now, I alluded to the fact that there were some huge announcements coming down the pipe for Parsiq, but today we have confirmation that they mean business. And so today we're going to be going over the huge announcement that they just got investment from Binance that they'll be integrating into Binance Smart Chain, as well as an entirely new epoch for their tokenomics. All of these updates, the Binance investment, the new Parsiq Tokenomics, and of course, the announcement of their PRQ Boost program to incentivize liquidity providers with even more staking rewards. All of this stuff, I believe, is going to shape up to you seeing that Parsiq is one project that you need to be watching. So if you guys are excited to learn about all the amazing things that Parsiq's doing and why I believe that this is a serious project to watch, then go ahead and smash that like button. And remember, each and every comment is entered to win your very own Ledger Nano S. Now, before I get into the meat of the episode, I do want to say that Parsiq is a monthly sponsor of the channel, and I've been working with them now for several months since they were originally a low-cap gem back in August. And I think that today I feel tremendously validated about all the work and the effort that I put into finding coins before I present them to you here on the channel. That said, let's dive into all the amazing announcements that they're unleashing upon you in just one calendar day here. It's pretty crazy. So today you see me tweeting here. I said PRQ getting investment from Binance, and this is of course because of a tweet from CZ. And as we click in here, we can see that this is from a Binance blog article where they've just made several investments from their $100 million accelerator fund. And you know what's funny about this is we hear about accelerator funds all the time. You heard about them on Tron, you heard about them on XRP, you heard about them on Neo, you heard about them on pretty much every project has a blank $1 million investment fund, but you never hear about them spending the money. And this is what I love about Binance is whether or not you agree that they're centralized or decentralized or good for the industry, bad for the industry, they absolutely walk the walk when they talk the talk. And here you see that they're not just talking about it, they're actually putting this money to good work, and they really want to build something of tremendous value on Binance Smart Chain. So here they're saying there are now 11 projects supported by Binance's $100 million accelerator fund for developers to build blockchain projects on Binance Smart Chain. We are proud to announce the second batch of blockchain projects that will receive funding from Binance as part of the $100 million accelerator fund. They have Bounce, a decentralized NFT auction platform that incorporates liquidity mining, a decentralized governance and staking incentive mechanisms. It provides OTC trading, token sales, and NFT auctions on chain. Very cool stuff. Love an NFT project. We also have DeFi Station, a DeFi chart and analytics board, Gitcoin, a developer-focused platform that supports open source blockchain projects via crowdfunding, Just Liquidity, a project that aims to create liquidity protocol mechanism to protect token holders from low liquidity, and Team Liquidity Exit. Finally, we have our baby Parsiq here. Parsiq is a provider of if TTT, if this then that, programmability for BSC made possible by allowing actions to be triggered by smart contract data and events. This is what we've been talking about for months now, the sort of complex workflows that allow for you to build out logic trees of if this happens, then do that. If this happens, then do that. If this, then that, then that, then that. And that kind of complex workflow done in the way that Parsiq's doing it, we'll show their WYSIWYG environment here just to catch you up on exactly what they're doing before we go into the tokenomics update. And so you can see here Parsiq is getting recognized by, in my opinion, one of the biggest and most prestigious investors in the space, which is Binance. And to me, does this foreshadow a potential listing on Binance? It's really hard to say, but it certainly cannot hurt the process of being an investment and working directly with Binance Smart Chain. The idea that they might at one point make their way to a Binance listing is something that I think just went up tremendously in my book as far as odds. And so I wouldn't be betting against it if I were you. There's no confirmation. I don't have any information about it, but I personally see Parsiq from the beginning as a tremendously useful project that I told you guys at the very beginning was going to make some crazy partnerships because this is a technology that really should be on every single blockchain. Every blockchain needs this sort of complex workflow, if this, then that type logic tree functionality, and especially doing it in a WYSIWYG, what you see is what you get type way. We'll just quickly go over the Parsiq website here. It says turn data into actions. They were doing this with monitoring hacks and stuff, but they can do this with anything. And you can see that they allow you, trigger a Telegram bot, send a message via Slack, add a risk score. You can see that they're allowing for you to integrate with a lot of other applications off-chain. And they also have this sort of drag and drop functionality, so you can really quickly drag things in and out and create these complex workflows. And this is really important because what I'm going to talk about in a second with their new tokenomics, the ability for anyone to create these complex workflows. You might think, well, I don't have an application. Why would I create a workflow? Well, they're actually creating a way for people who create useful workflows to end up making some money through subscriptions. And I think this was actually really genius of them. So let's talk about it. This is the new tokenomics from Parsiq that will be announced later today, but I coordinated with the team and they gave me this Google sheet here, which explains it all. And to me, this is the sign of a project that can evolve, because I talked with the team and I said, hey, your project, your technology is good, but I think what's missing as far as getting the token to move a little more is that the tokenomics aren't that exciting. They heard that, they digested it, and they came back with something that is quite original and it fits their project really well. And now with their tokenomics facelift here, along with the fact that they're implementing their PRQ boost token, I feel like you can see this is a project that is very much listening to its community and wants to change or improve whatever the community isn't so happy with. They say, Team Parsiq is proud to release our plans for Epoch 2. We would like to share some exciting news with our community and provide a detailed description of where PRQ is headed and how we are improving our ecosystem. In a nutshell, they're saying they have something called public projects. We'll discuss that in a second. They're talking about user data and PRQ. The more you monitor, the more PRQ you hold. Their O2 protocol, which is a lending protocol. And we'll talk about this. It's not your traditional crypto lending. It's more like a rental protocol for usage of their services. And then we also have the PRQ Boost program to reward people, stakers in their liquidity pool, with added staking rewards for holding this second token. Public projects. And just to be clear, if you guys had not followed the story, a different exchange got hacked. Parsiq didn't get hacked, but they made the decision to fork their token into a new token, and they protected, thousands of their holders, over 7,000 holders. And then there was a few people who ended up buying the old token on Uniswap. They weren't included in the sort of recovery plan, and so they launched a PRQ Boost token to try to even save those people. I think they did a good job, and if you guys want to see the full story, the interview with their CEO, Tom, explaining the whole event is in the description of this video, and I think it's really, really good viewing if you want to check it out. Public projects is essentially one of these new types of tokenomics mechanisms that they're releasing, but as well, it's a way for you to get involved in the Parsiq community, and it makes Parsiq more of a sort of public platform than just a B2B service. It's really, really interesting here. You're going to like this, I think. With public projects, our users can subscribe to existing Parsiq projects that were pre-made by other users. Projects themselves can contain smart triggers and user data. It is up to the owner of the public project to make them public, but any other user can subscribe to the public project and therefore listen for the resulting event of a smart trigger residing in that project. So you can think of projects as complex workflows. If I go into Parsiq and I say, hey, I want to create a workflow where if someone transfers XYZ token, it sends a message in Telegram. So it have this very specific listening workflow where it listens for certain actions and then it triggers other actions. And you can create any kind of variety of these. And if I want, I can make that public. And so by making it public, then I have the opportunity for other people to subscribe to that workflow, meaning that other people could say, wow, that's really useful. I want to go ahead and use that setup. Instead of creating it myself, I want to use what you guys created, and I can just be a subscriber to your workflow. And so to create a public project, it's required to pay a certain amount of PRQ. So you have to set it up with Parsiq tokens. And this obviously eliminates spam, but gives a good use case again for PRQ token. And then you have to hold a larger amount of PRQ. So you have to be not staking it, but you just have to be holding a certain minimum threshold of PRQ, and then you need to pay a small fee. When public projects are created, other users can subscribe to them. Users might find valuable public projects with interesting user data and smart triggers. And so this is the whole idea of the discoverability platform, where I can find other people's setups, other people's public projects here, and then I can say, instead of me recreating that, I can just subscribe to what you guys have created and be a listener. And so to subscribe to the public project, it is required to hold a large amount of PRQ. So in order to be a subscriber, you need to be a significant holder, again, driving more demand for PRQ token. And then you also are required to pay a relatively small amount in PRQ. If you have not unsubscribed from the public project within some period of time, trial period, then a small amount of PRQ goes to the creator of the public project, and the developers will be also incentivized to write interesting and more complex smart triggers. So essentially, this is like a subscription model to these public projects paid in PRQ, and you're required to not only hold a significant significant amount, but there's a small fee that goes to the creator of the public project. It essentially is creating an economic opportunity for all you out there. If you wanted to create some innovative, complex workflows on Parsiq, again, you don't have to code to be able to create these. That's the benefit of them creating the WYSIWYG, what you see is what you get environment. So you can literally just go in, drag and drop what you think might be an interesting workflow, and who knows, maybe you'll get a bunch of subscribers for your PRQ public project, and that would allow you to earn some passive income. It's very interesting stuff. And so public projects are planned to have so-called grace period, meaning that the smart triggers on public projects are removed if there are no subscribed users and the situation does not change within a month. So if you create a public project and no one cares, no one likes it, no one subscribes, it'll get deleted after a while. I think that's okay. So now they're also talking about user data and PRQ. Currently, users are now somehow limited in the amount of user data they can have. However, every single monitoring target, primitive type of address, struct within an address type, table row, would require one PRQ to hold after the implementation. It means that if there are 1,000 addresses, then the user would need 1,000 PRQ on the connected Ethereum account balance. So they're saying, depending on how many addresses you're monitoring here, you need to have that many PRQ. So if you're monitoring tens of thousands of addresses, you need tens of thousands of PRQ. You can see that for the enterprise type examples of using PRQ, this would require a significant PRQ holding. And I think this will be a huge driver of demand for the Parsiq token. And again, you can see they didn't just add staking here. They didn't just add some kind of lockup. Those are very basic things. They really thought about how their product, their platform, their project was unique, different unique ways that they can implement a token demand. And they built in what I think of as almost completely unique mechanisms here with regards to the public projects, with regards to this user data in PRQ. And now they have this O2 protocol, which they built an entire new protocol here for borrowing and lending PRQ completely risk-free. So their new product will come as a separate service and will play a crucial role in the new Epoch's tokenomics for, quote, risk-free PRQ lending. Risk-free PRQ lending means that the PRQ is not transferred from the lender's address to the borrower's address. So this isn't the type of lending that you're used to on sites like Compound. Lenders will put their PRQ tokens to the pool under different fees that are calculated algorithmically, demand for PRQ, and they will receive back the O2 protocol PRQ pool tokens. And so they're getting kind of like an IOU from the pool, but they don't actually control these tokens. But that IOU will essentially unlock features within the Parsiq platform. So essentially, this isn't borrowing and lending like you see on, sites like Compound, but what it is allowing for you to access the Parsiq services with essentially a borrowing mechanism instead of buying the PRQ token. If that makes sense, I hope it does. But essentially, they're allowing people who maybe want to get access to a lot of PRQ but don't want to necessarily buy it to have access to it, and then by proxy access the Parsiq services, the Parsiq platform. And so they're saying that this risk-free lending service would be an independent product by Team Parsiq that will also allow other projects with similar tokenomics to utilize their token. Please note that this type of system where the token is borrowed only for utility cases with the use of virtual ownership transfer, there is no need for providing collateral. So essentially what they're saying here is that there's no need for you to have collateral because there's no way for you to default on this. It's a sort of a virtual borrowing and lending without any risk. It's a very interesting mechanism that they're creating here, essentially allowing for people to get access to their services with less barriers. I'm not really sure how this is going to play out. It's such a lot of new stuff here that we're just going to have to wait and see. But again, O2 protocol, I think of this as almost a completely new thing that they've created once again. And to me, it validates a lot of what I've believed in, what I originally saw in the Parsiq team, what I originally saw as the potential of this team and what they were building. And now seeing them just come with innovative step after innovative step, I'm really, really bullish on what they're doing. And here we have the PRQ Boost token, which is essentially their program to allow for increased staking rewards, and they're giving this token out to those who were essentially victimized by everything that happened on Uniswap. But just know that this PRQ Boost token is a way that they're going about sort of rehabilitating any community members that were hurt by that. They're also making the PRQ Boost token available to anyone. So if you were going to be a liquidity provider on Uniswap for PRQ, you can get this token and it will essentially magnify and increase the staking rewards that you get. PRQ Boost utility token will have a limited supply. We have decided to distribute a substantial portion of the PRQ Boost supply to the people who incurred losses by trading the old PRQ on Uniswap after the hard fork because we want to support our community. That's right, guys. They essentially protected all their holders. They got hit with heavy fees, having to do the fork, having to cover for Poloniex, essentially market dumping on Uniswap. A lot of crazy stuff happened, and then they're doing this essentially as a way to reward or take care of the people who were left behind. I think, honestly, if you could ask more out of a token, I don't know. I see a lot of tokens that would just ignore this 100 people who bought the dip. I think that this is a testament to their ethics here as a project. And so for those who were looking to understand how that they could be made whole again after this whole crazy Coin Metro hack incident, I think that this is a great example of how they're going about doing that. Well, there you have it. Parsiq is making huge moves. They just got an investment from Binance. Whether this means that a listing is coming short after from Binance, I don't know. It's up to you and I to speculate on that. I certainly think that this doesn't hurt. It certainly could be a possibility. And well, if that happens, that would be phenomenal for holders of the token. As usual, I'm very impressed with Parsiq's technology. They keep pushing it forward at like a breakneck, relentless pace. And now this Epoch 2.0 with their tokenomics, this isn't just a small little tweak to their tokenomics. They're coming with public projects, which essentially is a way that anyone can use their technology and start making passive monthly income. It incentivizes people to sort of take advantage of these tools and try creating things of value. I love that. They also have this risk-free borrowing and lending with their O2 protocol. It's brand new. It's something that you need to wrap your head around, but I think it's very interesting to understand. They're requiring big accounts that are using heavily their services to have a minimum amount of Parsiq holdings. I think all of these updates really drive a ton of demand for what Parsiq's doing. Essentially, if you want to use these services, you have to hold PRQ. And sometimes if you're a bigger company, you have to hold a whole lot of PRQ, sometimes tens of thousands of them, if not more. And finally, they have their PRQ Boost token that they're releasing to help the, essentially those who were victimized by the Coin Metro incident. Honestly, today is a huge amount of steaming hot, piping hot news from the Parsiq team. And this to me is extremely validating of the amount of time I spent researching this project before presenting it to you guys. Again, as the FUD rolled in a few weeks ago for them, I was really intent on working directly with the team and trying to find a resolution that made sense. And they more than delivered, in my opinion, on this front. But I'm curious what you guys think. Are you guys excited about this Parsiq news as I am? I personally have believed in this project from the early days. I think I was one of the first content creators that covered it. And this is, to me, a beastly project in the making. And I know for a fact that there is a ton more ridiculously good news coming, some really big announcements coming in November. And I think this should be a significant indicator as to the level at which Parsiq is playing on here, how fast they're reacting, shipping code, developing new tools, re-examining tokenomics, and of course, partnering with some of the biggest projects in the space to bring their incredibly useful and time-saving technology to first Binance Smart Chain, and we can imagine many other chains in the future. If you got some value out of this video, if you guys are excited to hear what Parsiq's been up to and all the value they've created and what they have coming in the future, then do me a favor and destroy that like button. And remember, each and every comment is entered to win a Ledger Nano S. We'll be giving it away on tomorrow's episode, so hang tight and get excited for that. If you comment below this video, you're entered to win. Remember, Parsiq was a low cap gem here on this channel, and we covered it at below a $5 million market cap. At one point, Parsiq almost touched $40 million in market cap. And so if you guys want to be made aware of coins like Parsiq at the very earliest stage, the best way that you can do that is by subscribing and making sure you have that notification bell on. And that way you're made aware exactly when I put out the content. In this particular arena of low cap gems and really new altcoins, speed is your friend. And so you'll definitely want to be made aware exactly when I put these videos out. You don't want to be the last one to know about coins like Parsiq. So if that's exciting to you, I highly encourage you guys to subscribe and turn that bell on. As usual, if you want to connect with me personally, feel free to follow me on Twitter at Leo Trades. We're building an amazing community over there, almost 20,000 followers over on Twitter. And we have an awesome Telegram group. We're about to hit 10,000 users in there. Come help us hit 10,000 users. The links for both of those are in the description of this video. And I appreciate you supporting the channel. As usual, my name's Leo Trades. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon on the next episode.